Fear is smart. That is what makes it so hard to deal with. It does not show up looking like fear most of the time. It shows up looking like logic, like caution, like being realistic, like protecting yourself from getting hurt again. And before you know it, you have not made the call, started the thing, had the conversation, or taken the step, not because you do not want to, but because fear dressed itself up as wisdom and you could not tell the difference. Sound familiar? You are not alone. Fear is one of the most consistent human experiences in the entire Bible, and our Father addresses it more than almost any other topic in Scripture. In fact, some form of "do not be afraid" appears over 300 times across the Bible. That is not a coincidence. That is our Father meeting us exactly where we are. Today we are going to look at what the Bible actually says about fear, and more importantly, what faith does to it. Isaiah 41:10 is one of the clearest, most direct statements our Father ever made about fear. He says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." 4 promises in 2 verses. I am with you. I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will uphold you. Our Father does not just tell you not to be afraid and leave you there. He tells you why you do not need to be afraid. Because He is present. Because He is capable. Because He is already holding you up, even when you feel like you are falling. That is the foundation. And everything else we talk about today stands on it. Now let's be honest about what fear actually is. Because the Bible does not treat fear as a character flaw or a sign of weak faith. Some of the strongest people in Scripture were afraid. Moses was afraid. Elijah was afraid. David wrote entire psalms soaked in fear and uncertainty. Even Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane was in such anguish that Scripture says, His sweat was like drops of blood. Fear is human. Our Father knows that. He is not disappointed in you for feeling it. What He is inviting you into is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of faith alongside it. Faith does not wait until you are no longer afraid before it moves. Faith moves while you are still afraid, because it is anchored to something bigger than the feeling. 2 Timothy 1:7 puts it plainly. For our Father has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. A spirit of fear is not from our Father. That anxious, paralyzing, shrinking energy that tells you to stay small, stay safe, never risk, never move. That is not His voice. His voice sounds like power, like love, like clarity. And learning to tell the difference between those two voices is one of the most important things you can do in your walk with Him. Think about Peter walking on water. Matthew 14. The disciples are in a boat in the middle of a storm, and they see Jesus walking toward them on the water. Peter, impulsive, passionate Peter, says, "If it is really you, tell me to come." And Jesus says one word, "Come." And Peter gets out of the boat in the middle of a storm. That is faith in action. But then, verse 30, he sees the wind. He feels the waves, and he takes his eyes off Jesus and puts them on the storm, and he starts to sink. Jesus reaches out immediately, catches him, and says, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" Notice what Jesus does not say. He does not say, "Why did you get out of the boat?" He does not rebuke Peter for trying. He addresses the moment Peter shifted his focus. Because the storm did not change the moment Peter looked at it. The storm was already there. What changed was where Peter put his attention. Fear grows when we stare at the storm. Faith grows when we keep our eyes on Jesus. So how do you practically overcome fear with faith? Because that is the real question. Not whether faith is stronger than fear in theory, but how do you actually live that out when your heart is pounding and the what-ifs are loud? The first thing is to identify what you are actually afraid of. Fear is most powerful when it is vague, when it is just this heavy, undefined dread sitting on your chest. Name it. Get specific. Say it out loud or write it down. What exactly are you afraid will happen? What is the worst-case scenario your mind keeps running to? When you name it, it loses some of its power. And once it has a name, you can bring it to our Father specifically. Not just, Lord, I am anxious, but Father, I am afraid that this relationship will not work out. I am afraid I am going to fail. I am afraid of losing what I have built. Specific prayer is powerful prayer. The second thing is to replace the fear narrative with truth. Fear tells you a story, and it tells it convincingly. But most of what fear predicts never actually happens. And even when hard things do happen, our Father has never once left you to face them alone. Philippians 4:8 gives you the tool. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, think about such things. This is not toxic positivity. It is a deliberate choice to feed your mind truth instead of worst-case scenarios. When fear speaks, you respond with what you know. Our Father has been faithful before. He has brought you through things you did not think you would survive. He has never once abandoned you. That is true. Let that be louder than the fear. The third thing is to take one step. Just one. You do not have to have the whole path figured out. You do not need to see the end of the road before you move. You just need to take the next step that is in front of you. Fear wants you to stay still until everything is certain, but certainty is not the condition for obedience. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is taking the step while the fear is still present. It is saying, I do not know how this is going to turn out, but I trust the one who does, and I am moving anyway. That step of faith, however small it looks, is what opens the door. Our Father does not ask for perfect confidence before He moves. He asks for willingness. He asks for one foot in front of the other in His direction. Here is what overcomes fear. Not willpower, not positive thinking, not pretending the hard thing is not hard. Presence. The presence of our Father, walking with you into the thing you are afraid of. Isaiah 41:10 is not a promise that the fear goes away. It is a promise that you are not alone in it. That the one who holds the universe together is also holding your hand in the moment you feel most exposed. That changes everything, not because the situation changes immediately, but because you are not facing it alone. And a person who knows they are not alone can do things that a person who feels abandoned never could. You were not built to be controlled by fear. Our Father placed something in you, purpose, calling, capacity, that fear has been trying to keep locked up, and He is not done bringing it out. Do not let fear write the story of your life. Step toward what our Father is calling you to. Take the next step. Keep your eyes on Jesus in the middle of the storm, and trust that the hand that caught Peter is the same hand that is reaching for you.